Every second in this country, $3,075 is being spent on pornography, with a new pornographic film being created every 39 minutes. Statistics like these have touched off an explosion in the pornography industry, a $13.5 billion business in the United States. These skyrocketing numbers have also led to a startling phenomenon of pornography addiction that leave many fearing of an erosion of our collective moral fiber necessarily, right? That would be the obvious issue that comes out of that. Question becomes, what can be done with the growing problem? Is there an answer for people? Is this even wrong? Some people would say it's not wrong at all. Not you, Father Edward Beck, but let's start with that as a supposition. I have a tough time even believing or accepting these numbers. They seem so shockingly high to me. I do know that the #1 media business is pornography, which is very interesting. But what is the concern here for you?
Well, the concern is the disassociation between love and sex. It's exploitation of those making these films. I mean, it's been shown that most of the people who make these films act in these films have been abused, are substance addicted, have all kinds of problems. So we were once again abusing them by fostering this vast pornography business. So I mean, that's a real concern for me. For those who watch it, I would say, what's interesting to me, I have married couples come and say to me, they've been married 20 years, the kind of fizzle is gone. So,
I used to suggest that they watch pornography?
No, let me finish.
No.
Let me finish.
Okay.
So the husband will say, well, I've taken to fantasizing because, I'm so used to my spouse that I have to think about somebody else.
He says this with his wife there?
Yeah. But then thinking about somebody else,
crazy man.
Thinking about somebody else and fantasizing was not enough. So we started renting some tapes. And so, to get ourselves interested in one another, we watch these other people having sex so that we can have better sex. And I'm thinking, hold it. So you're objectifying not only your wife and these people that you're now watching so that you can perform sexually. And I mean, this is crazy.
But the woman's there. 1 in 3 visitors to porn sites are women. 17% of women in this study say that they have a problem with porn. So they're in it also. She's not a victim.
I'm not saying they're not in it, but my experience is that women have a much more integrative relationship when it comes to sex and love being put together and intimacy than men do.
Health professionals say that they're more worried about women being addicted to this because women are more likely to act out their behaviors in real life, such as having multiple partners in casual sex.
When women are addicted, they're saying, those that are addicted.
They're more worried about addiction in women because of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's not my experience in dealing with people, but I don't know what your experience would be with this.
It's the biggest media industry. You have people who are certainly going $3,000 a minute. Hey. Christy Brinkley, they all blew up that her husband had this thing going on with pornography, $3,000 a month. What does it mean? If so many people are doing it, do we have to change the mores here a little bit? This is part of our reality as a culture?
Well, sex is the basic drive. Let's not pretend we don't have this base instinct and we're going to satisfy it any way we can if we don't have some moral parameters or some guidelines to help us steer in those very treacherous waters.
Maybe, but is it too big, or have the people spoken?
Just because it's making money, you mean?
I mean, making money. Any way you quantify it, it's like a huge activity. I don't know what else we could say people are spending this much money on every second. Every second, $3,075 is being spent on this. What else is there?
Well, we know, of course, the internet has helped this because people can do it much more privately now. They don't have to leave their homes. They can do it on their computers, and that's really fueling a lot of the growth of this. So, yeah, it's a whole other challenge in this technological age to how do we help people cope with this kind of addiction and propensity. And I think religious and moral traditions are the ones that can help do that.
But I guess the question also comes, first of all, relax, I can feel you all out there. I'm offering the other side of this because there's two sides to everything. Don't be with the Cuomo's, the porn king situation.
Yeah, and if you believe that.
47% of Christians, according to the Family Safe Media Council, report that pornography is a major problem in their homes. You surprised?
No.
Almost half?
That it's a major problem in their homes.
I'm shocked by that.
I'm surprised that they would know it. Usually it's a secret problem.
Well, that's the whole thing with pornography, right? You don't know it until you can't define it until you see it.
Usually it's a secret problem. And 47%, by the way, I think that's from a documentary called Somebody's Daughter that's talking about evangelical Christians.
And talks about the prevalence of pornography seeping into even the leadership of the faith, but the openness amongst the clergymen and
Watch
a woman,
it, Cuomo.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm not talking about you. Unlike you, who's trying to paint me with the porno brush, I am exempting you from any type of measurement of that nature. I'm saying that in working through it, that in the documentary, they say the clergy actually exposing what they were about and dealing with the problem with the laity, I guess, the members of the church helped in dealing with it. So I guess maybe this is one of those things, like it's the biggest elephant in the room we can imagine. But we're not dealing with it.
I don't know if I agree with that totally. And in other words, when you go to a psychotherapist, do you want the psychotherapist to tell you all their problems so that you can be simpatico with the psychotherapist, or do you want them somewhat objective in a helping relationship? I think a clergy person needs to be a helper. You need some transparency. You have to see these people as human, see all of us as human. But I don't know if you want to share your struggles on that intimate a level with your congregation. I don't know.
Now, again, send your comments along. Remember, I'm just forwarding an opinion. Don't be all we love Father Edward Beck and that amoral mound that sits across from him. Here's an interesting email. The top of it's very nice and flattering to you and I, and that's very nice. But the bottom of it is what's important. As a woman of faith who's also a teacher, I sometimes find it challenging not to express my faith more openly when trying to help my students work through the many problems they bring to school. Great comment. Where's the line? Where is the line? You will get in big trouble, especially if if she works in a public school. She's got huge problems if she introduces her, let's assume, Christianity into it. What do you think? What's your advice, Father?
Well, I think in that situation, she does have to remain a bit more neutral and not kind of give too much of her opinion on it. I think she has to respect the diversity of her class.
But one of the best tools to help her kids is her faith. It's one of the tools at her
disposal. I think she can speak of her own personal experience of what's important to her as long as she's not proselytizing about it.
The real takeaway here is great to have the comment. We're getting more. We need more. That's what this is all about. And Focus on Faith will continue if we're getting your feedback, because that's why we do it. So you want to send along your comments and videos every week. We're going to look at what raises these moral and ethical and spiritual questions. How do you do it? Ready? You go to abcnews.com/abcnewsnow/Focus on Faith. We're making it simpler all the time. Get involved in the discussion, and we will see you soon. For Father Edward Beck, I'm Chris Cuomo. Let's keep focusing on faith.